In our news package, Akbc State to uphold zoning principle in forthcoming local government elections. Dan advocates protest as drive to positive change development. Fuel subsidy. World Bank seeks utilization of savings as its palliatives. Retired DIG Ekudom rewards political loyalists with drugstore. We have details of this and more in a moment. Good morning and thank you for joining us on our news at dawn. My name is Juliet Richard. Aspirants warming up for chairmanship and councillorship positions in the forthcoming local government elections in Akbc State have been informed that the zoning principle will be upheld in the different local government areas and wards. Speaking at a social event over the weekend, which had in attendance a large followership of local government chairmen, Governor Moeno said the clarification became necessary to restrain the aspirants from frivolous spending. A government house reporter, Udwaikong, has the details.
Emphasizing that the whistle for the next local government elections is yet to be blown, Pastor Moeno advised aspirants and stakeholders in the local government areas to put their intentions on hold until clarifications are received from the electoral umpire.
I'm hearing that people have already started consultation for chairmanship. Please don't spend your money. I will not pay anybody for association of attempted consultants for chairmanship because I know the pressure group say we are going to spend money, reform the pressure group. We should reform. I'm not sent you to spend money. Please wait and wait and wait. We are trying to ensure that government takes shape and we're doing the best we can. Not doing anything and government take position. A people from pressure groups reform, association of attempted chairmen, we will not listen to you. And we are not blow the whistle yet for local government elections. So I'm advising it should be money you make to save the money.
The governor, who said he would not go against the existing zoning arrangements, insisted that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, would not compensate any individual or groups engaged in consultations for positions not zoned to their wards.
If zoning you don't favor okay, don't even try it. I will not support anyone. I played 1 year they are zoning formula, and we all know it. So nobody else them bother me that. But I'm on pressure some months. I will not go against zoning. Let us know that.
On the skirmishes in some places occasioned by the mapping exercise, which is in court, Pastor Eno called on local government chairmen as chief security officers to ensure the maintenance of peace and order.
I know that some local governments have gone to court. Naturally, when the case is in court, you maintain peace. Nobody is coming to take your land or do anything. We will wait for all the fireworks to be done in the court. So please, there is no need whatsoever for anyone to encourage, and we are aware, we have security report that some local government chairmen are encouraging and trying to hide behind to create. Once that happens, please, we will bring the full weight of the law. Let local government chairmen hear me clearly. I will not surrender my mandate as the governor of this state to anyone. And we like to work in peace, we like to show that we are peaceful people, but at the same time we will react when we have to. And this is not a threat. As the local government chairman of any local government, we will hold that local government chairman responsible for any breakdown of law and order in his domain.
Akbc News.
The state's governor, Pastor Moino, has presented food items and cash to the Muslim community in the 36 local governments of the state in the spirit of 2023 Eid al-Kabir celebration. Governor Eno, who hosted members of Arewa Muslim community yesterday at PDP Secretariat Uyo, told them that the presentation was made to strengthen the bond of peace, love and stability in the country. A government house reporter, Utwe Mokun, who witnessed a presentation, reports that the governor was accompanied by the secretary to the state government, Prince Enobonwa, and special assistant to the governor on religious matters, Pastor Inima Umo, among others. The report.
Presenting the items comprising bags of rice, cows, ram and cash donations, the Deputy Governor, Senator Konowari, who represented Governor Moino, extended the governor's warmest facilitations to the Muslim community in the state on this year's Eid al-Kabir.
Today, I came on behalf of the government of Akwa State to do the presentation of the items for the celebration. You take this to the people, Allah will make it multiply, and as they take it, it will be very useful, nourishing in their body.
Senator Yaranyi appreciated the Muslim community for supporting the Umoino's late administration, saying that his Arise agenda will embrace every facet of life. Governor Eno enjoined the Muslim community to remember the significance of the celebration, which is sacrifice, obedience and love. He advised them to uphold the guiding spirit and philosophy behind the celebration so as to woo more investors and development to the state.
The governor of Akwa State, Pastor Mo Eno, understands the value of the phase of sacrifice for the Muslims. We want to congratulate you for going through this season successfully and wishes you happy celebration for today and tomorrow. He also said I should ask you, as you pray, that you should continue to pray for Akwa Ibom State, Akwa Ibom community. They are known as a peaceful state, a peaceful people. They accept visitors, they take them as their own. That's why, for the number of years you've been here in Akwa Ibom State, you've had a peaceful coexistence.
The chairman of Arewa Community, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Emmanuel Obole, expressed delight at Governor Moino's gesture and commended him for his love to the Muslim community. He said his move to identify with them goes a long way to enhance national integration and unity, commending the governor for establishing a peaceful atmosphere for all residents of the state, irrespective of religious beliefs, tribe, and political affiliations.
This has been a regular routine most of the times of celebration. The immediate past governor of Akwa Ibom State, Dike Gabriel Emmanuel, he has been doing this on a regular basis. It's carried us along. We have felt that sense of belonging, and we want to most specifically thank Akwa Ibom State and its people for the peaceful atmosphere that we have enjoyed thus far through the able leadership of His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, and we wish that God will give you the grace, the will, and the way to pilot the affairs of the state to its desired destination. Our promise here this day is to ensure that we partner with you, whichever way we can, to maintain the peace and to see to the growth and development of Akwa Ibom State.
The youth leader of Arewa Community, Al-Aji Ibrahim Iliya, eulogized the governor for giving them a sense of belonging to share in love and oneness.
I thank him so much. May God bless Pastor Umoy, bless the family, and also God bless the Akwa Ibom State, and also God bless the Nigeria.
An academic, Professor Emmanuel Unwuni has advocated the use of protest as a tool to drive positive change and development in the country. He was speaking at the 5th annual birthday lecture in honor of a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Akpan Organ Ekbo. Professor Unwuni, however, called for checks against the negative consequences of protest. The reports. Speaking on protest matter, the effects of protests on economic redistribution. Professor of Economics and lecturer at University of Uyo mentioned reasons for protests to include political oppression, insecurity, economic needs, and marginalization. Also spoke of effects of protest if not handled properly.
Protest is as old as human beings, right from the beginning when humanity started, protest started. Because civilization, inequality, marginalization have been part of creation, have been part of what human beings have gone through. So protest is as high as old as human beings. Essentially, protests have been the driving force of everything that look like progress in the world. So if you want to achieve anything, if you expect to get anything, nobody will bring it to the platter of gold.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Yaudon Dayo, felicitated with Professor Akbc on his 69th birthday and conveyed the university's wishes to him.
I want to thank you for allowing God to use you to bless this university the way it has. And to thank your wife immensely for being a good wife, very supportive, both in prayers and then ensuring that something is done the way it should be done. So we appreciate you. Our prayer as management at the University of Uyo is that God should continue to uphold you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. God should continue to favor you, to protect you, to strengthen you. Amen. So you can continue to be useful to us in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Responding, Professor Hogan Ekpo and wife Njiri thanked God for blessing the celebrator with long life and good health. The university community, family, friends, and guests for honoring them. He also made a case for people to take personal decisions that will help create a better environment.
The motto of this center is knowledge for liberation. Philosophers, all of us here, they will continue to explain, interpret the world. What is fundamental is for us to change it positively for the benefit of humanity. Once again, my wife and I, entire family, we thank all of you for this kind gesture and pray that God will also honor you more than tenfold. God bless you all.
Goodwill messages were received from Governor Umoino, represented by Dr. Charles Udo, a former governor of the state, Obon Victor Ata, and Okwibomi Bibu Ntenyin Solomon Etu, who were represented at the event.
So His Excellency has asked me to say that he identifies with this project. He's asked me to look around and then give me a report. What is done, what needs to be done, and when it will be done. Rest assured that Akwa Ibom is safe, Akwa Ibom will be sound, and welcome to the golden era, and the happy hour will be beginning. Thank you.
The birthday celebration, which was chaired by Ambassador Asamasam, took place at the Professor Akpan Organ Ekpo's Center for Public Policy, main campus, University of Uyo. The Chairman Board of Governors, Tower of Ivory Schools, retired DIG of Police Udom Ekudom has donated a chemist store with drugs to a chemist Ubong Fidelis Uko. The store, worth ₦1 million according to the DIG Ekudom, was donated to compensate loyalty in politics and encourage Uko, a native of Ofodo back in Abak local government area, for his support to him, APC, and the Senate President Chief Godswill Akpabio. Eyarano Paul reports.
Presenting the chemist store to the beneficiary, DIG Udom thanked Ubong Uko for his role in the emergence of Senator Godswill Akpabio as a senator representing Ikorekbede Senatorial District and the Senate President in the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. DIG Udom and wife Lady Dorothy said the chemist store is to ensure that Ubong has what to fall back on, provide for himself and his households, urging other party faithful to emulate Ubong Uko and know that there is reward for loyalty.
I wanted to communicate as a senator. I have to know what people to certainly need.
The assignment on another came to introduce your family with the concern. I think other government supporters that they must support those two of family to wage.
They have come here as a parent of this young man. It pleased God that he opened this shop for this young man, the youth leader, to sell and make progress. It is good to give somebody net to fish and not only to give a person fish. We also pray, even if he gives people who come here water to drink, that through your Holy Spirit, his hands will be healing hands, and that the person will receive healing in the mighty name of Jesus.
The APC chapter chairman in Abak, Mr. Gideon Edo, saluted the retired DIG of police for rewarding loyalty, describing the beneficiary as the right person for the reward.
So it's not all about politics. A full year politics is an additional adding in someone's life that is a
The woman leader of the party in the area, Patience, called on other party faithful to show commitment and loyalty to the party and to work towards the development of Akwa Ibom State.
Senate President, as a senator, even your fights on
The beneficiary Wonko thanked Mr. Udom for such magnanimity, assuring him that the gesture will spur him to do more for the party and the state.
Especially, and Nigeria was renew hope. Nigeria and then from you. Renew hope. I don't give up because man is in the very day my boss called me, we interacted. Now I now I will go. Then I call you when you want me. Then no other one. I let them go and let them know. Then man within the car, you want to power. Then within the
High point of the occasion was the dedication of the chemist store and prayers by Pastor Ekbam Momo Eyageno Paul Akbc News.
A non-governmental organization, Foundation for Partnership Initiative in the Niger Delta, in conjunction with Ford Foundation, has organized a one-day workshop for stakeholders from oil-bearing communities of Akwa Ibom to prepare them to take advantage of the soon-to-be implemented Petroleum Industry Act. The workshop, which held in Uyo, educated participants on the framework and nitty-gritty of the PIA Act and its expected benefits for the communities. Etienne Oibaha reports.
The workshop tagged Petroleum Industry Act Bridges Project Awareness Creation engaged stakeholders on dialogue where issues agitating their minds on the subject matter were deliberated. In a keynote address, the Advocacy Manager Partnership Initiative in the Niger Delta, Mr. Chuks Ofule, said the sensitization on the PIA requirements and its implementation process was to enable members of the host communities, development trust, and community stakeholders have better understanding and active participation in the process.
This awareness creation session will provide the host community trust members and community stakeholders with deep and better understanding of the Petroleum Industrial Act. It will ensure that each stakeholder fully comprehends their role in the host community development plan to achieve direct social and economic benefits for the host community, to enhance peaceful and harmonious coexistence between the settler and the communities, and to share sustainable development plan. Deploy optimal approach that will facilitate sustainable, pragmatic development in the communities. It also aims at restructuring both community management and PIA, and it mandates the creation of community development trusts within the oil and gas operations described. Those that we create those trusts as the settlers.
Director, Executive Enterprise for Development International, Mr. Olukayode Soremekon, explained that the workshop was an avenue to clarify issues on the Petroleum Industry Act for oil-bearing communities' representatives.
It is very important that we should note that until now, there's always been a relationship between the settlers, as the companies, and the communities. But now the law is saying, yes, we have a relationship, but we're going to be giving them money every year from the operational expense.
A representative from the State Ministry of Power and Petroleum Development, Engineer Emmanuel Yang, and some participants, including Mrs. Inyobo Okonko, bear their minds on the workshop.
We believe the advocacy should be even heightened more than this, so that at the implementation of the PIA in our host communities, there will be peace.
I thank God that the PIA has been signed to law. Sometimes the 3% that they used to give us, you will fight over it. There was no direction, there was no guideline. But this one is under law, and the law will always take its course.
Etienne Ibanga, Akbc News.
Still to come, World Bank calls for use of palliatives for fuel subsidy removal to reduce mass suffering. We have details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and or write to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Good to have you back. Remember, you are still watching Akbc 45 News at dawn. And now to the rest of our stories. The University of Uyo has rescheduled its inaugural lecture in view of the public holidays declared by the federal government for Wednesday, June 28 and Thursday, June 29, 2023 to mark Eid al-Kabir. A statement signed by Registrar and Secretary to Senate, Mrs. Blossom E. Okorie, indicates that the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nyaudon Dayo, has directed that the 91st inaugural lecture to be presented by Professor Efiong E. A. Ekpeyon, Professor of French Translation Studies, Department of Foreign Languages, Faculty of Arts, earlier scheduled for Thursday, June 29, 2023, be rescheduled to Friday, June 30, 2023. Time is 3 p.m. at 1,000-seater capacity lecture theatre, main campus of the university. The statement further requests guests to be seated by 2:45 p.m. and regret inconveniences the rescheduling could cause. The World Bank yesterday called on the federal government to reallocate parts of the savings from fuel subsidy removal to reduce the suffering of Nigerians worsened by the negative impact of the policy. The call was made in its latest Nigeria Development Update (NDU). The World Bank noted that an additional 7.1 million Nigerians would be pushed into poverty, especially without measures to compensate for negative impact of subsidy removal on the populace. It also said that with the petrol subsidy removal, the government is projected to achieve fiscal savings of approximately 2 trillion in 2023, equivalent to 0.7% of GDP. These savings, according to them, will reach over 11 trillion by the end of 2025. In another development, the World Bank has approved a fresh $500 million loan for Nigeria to help improve the livelihood of women. The scale-up financing will further support the government of Nigeria to invest in improving the livelihoods of women in Nigeria. Attention has been drawn to the circulation of forms purported issued by the Directorate of Agricultural Investment asking members of the public to pay a certain amount of money in order to qualify for a 500,000 naira grant allegedly authorized by the state government. According to the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Karete Udo, the alleged fraud is handiwork of scammers at the state government as not authorized such a program. Members of the public are hereby advised to ignore and discountenance the criminal acts as law enforcement agents are on the trail of the perpetrators of the scam. And that's the size of our package this morning. Before we go, a quick look at the major stories. The state governor, Pastor Moino, has presented food items and cash to the Muslim community in the 36 local governments of the state in the spirit of 2023 Eid al-Kabir celebration. Governor No, who hosted members of Arewa Muslim community yesterday at PDP Secretariat Uyo, told them that the presentation was made to strengthen the bond of peace, love, and stability in the country. We also brought you a report that an academic, Professor Emmanuel Onwuniekat, has advocated the use of protests as a tool to drive positive change and development in the country. He was speaking at the 5th annual birthday lecture in honor of a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Akpan Hogan Ekpo. That's all we have for you this morning. We appreciate your company. Do stay tuned for other programs. I am Juliet Richard. Do have a blessed day.